Yo, what's good? Good morning. Welcome back to L Does Boxing, man. We back again with another boxing recap. We got some news and notes for you guys. Y'all know how we get down on a Sunday morning. We got a lot of information to drop for you guys, a lot of content to talk about. Salute to everybody coming through the building. I appreciate your time. Make sure you come through, tap on that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Salute to the playback. I appreciate you guys as always. You know what I'm saying? Join into the conversation. Drop your comments. Change the subject. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk this boxing, man. It's all open forum. Anybody want to tap in? Feel free to do so. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, bro. We had a big fight weekend. A lot of fights. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we had the big event with Jake and Joshua, and we're gonna talk about it. You guys to tap in on my social media. It's scrolling across the bottom. If you guys have Twitter and Instagram, feel free to tap in with me. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? We can always chop it up behind the scenes. We always keep that door open for anything like that. My bro Mike in the building. What's good with you, bro? Salute to you. I appreciate you coming through. Yes, sir. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back to that Friday night Netflix. This is a big event. You know what I'm saying? Whether if you like it or not, whatever, and you think it's, we have our feelings about what Jake Paul do, but the event was shit was popping. It looked like a real big event. And I'm saying, fighters got opportunities, so that was dope. So Jake and Joshua, we're gonna run up the card. Keno Marley, he got this is a pro debut. He beat Gift Davis. He dropped him in the first round. I thought it was gonna be up. I thought it was gonna be over with quick, but he ended up going the 4 round distance. So, that's a I guess good solid 4 rounds for him. He can come back. Maybe let's keep him active. You know what I'm saying? MVP just signed him. Avis Griffin, he's coming off a knockout loss in June to Julian Rodriguez. He got a first round knockout against Justin Cardona. That was nice. Kind of started off, kind of fill out round, and towards the end of the round, he landed some good, strong shots. I think it was a left hook that got him, and he hurt Cardona, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? Avis Griffin is a big puncher. He's 18-1 with 17 knockouts, and he was fighting a guy moved up in weight. So that was a good comeback fight for him to get his confidence back because he lost a lot of confidence in that fight with Julian Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see what he can do. Let's see how they can move him in the welterweight division, which is the division that's kind of got a lot of parity right now. So, one good win can get you in position for maybe a title eliminator or a big opportunity. So, that was a good comeback for him. Castavale versus Yildir Bustillos. Man, that was a tough fight, yo. All of your Castavale's fights are tough and basically down to the wire. This is another one. These ladies knew each other. It was basically back and forth. Um, Shoot, you can make a case for Bastilio's winning this fight. Like she was tough. She was taking a lot of good shots, but she was also giving a lot of good shots. I know Castle got a cut early or head clash. She always fight tough and strong, and she was able to get a decision victory and keep her WBC title at 105 pounds. So she in position to unify. We got two other champions at 105. We have her stablemate, Kim Clavel. She's the IBF champion. She recently attained that title. And then you have a unified champion, uh, what is it, WBO and WBC champion, Sarah Bullman. She's from Germany. And that's the fight that probably be next for your Casa Valley, a 3 belt unification. So we'll see. I mean, it was an okay performance. It ain't nothing too crazy, from a vet like that. But she was able to, squeak out a decision. I thought the fight was pretty close. So Caroline Dubois versus Camilla Panetta. We was all hyped about seeing Caroline. I think that was one of the best signings though in the recent, any promoter can have coming from boxer, undefeated Olympian, WBC lightweight champion. I mean, I thought she boxed well. You know what I'm saying? She was sharp early. She was, she just did her defense is on point. You know what I'm saying? Like she got good defense, and that's going to help her out when she step up in competition. Panetta was strong and she was trying to bring it, but she was just too slow in this. She got dropped with a nice right hook in the seventh round, and that pretty much sealed the deal for Dubois. You know what I'm saying? Easy money, boxed well. She was sharp. I mean, maybe she kind of faded and gassed out a little bit down the stretch, but it's all good. She still won clearly. So what's next for her, man? She look, she called out Alicia Baumgartner, and Alicia called her out too. So I don't think that's next. It's pretty much it's going to be a unification against Terry Harper next. MVP is working on doing a show sometime top of the year in the UK, and they signed a bunch of UK female fighters: Savannah Marshall, Chantel Cameron, Ellie Scottney, Caroline Dubois. They got a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? Ramla Ali. So they got enough women fighters they can do a whole female card. And I think Caroline versus Terry Harper makes sense there. So we'll see. But down the line, though, if she can clean up 135, which I think it's going to be tough because, I mean, Terry Harper is solid. She's a three division world champion. Um, who else? We have the IBF champion. Yo, she a problem. Torhan, she punching. So that might be her toughest fight, where she gonna have to be switched on because that lady, she punching and she tough as hell. And then you have Stephanie Hahn, is the WBA champion. She about to defend against Holly Holm, January the 3rd. So it's some smoke for her. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually a big fight with Alicia Baumgartner would be dope too. So that might be a couple of fights away, but yeah, that's something to look forward to. Shanika Johnson versus Amanda Galley. I mean, Shanika Johnson is just she's just strong. She was just physically too strong and too big for Amanda Galley, who had some success. Both ladies traded cuts. Like, I think Shanika got cut in the first and Amanda got cut in the second. But overall, it was just Shanika Johnson being just too big and strong. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe she hurt Amanda Galley, but she was just, too big. Too big, outworking her. Galley's punches wasn't affecting her as, it wasn't affecting her, deterring her from coming in and paying a toll to get in. So Shanika Johnson retains her undisputed titles at 118 pounds. She in position for another big fight with Dina Storsland, who is still the number one fighter in this division, in my opinion. She had to take some time off, some personal issues, but she's coming back, having a comeback fight in January. She signed with MVP as well. We got more on her later in the show, but yeah, Shanika Johnson's, man, she's strong as hell. It's gonna be tough to beat her. Jamal Harvey, he had a good second fight. You know what I'm saying? Fought a tough guy, Kevin Cervantes. He got a 6 round decision. He was switching sharp, did his thing. Salute to him. Keep him active. Anderson Silva, he stopped Tyron Woodley. Alicia Baumgartner versus Layla Badu. I mean, Alicia looked good though. I ain't gonna lie. She paced herself real well with the 12 round, 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? She that's her. I think that's gonna fit her. I always said that's gonna fit her. I just was curious about her gas tank. Going deeper in a fight, longer minutes. But she fought with a nice pace. She took her time early. You know, Layla was trying to get in, but she was too slow, and the talent was evident. And as the fight started to go on, the talent gap started to get wider and wider. And right in the seventh round, at the end of the seventh, Alicia landed her patented right hand over the top. That's her favorite punch. So when I seen it, I was like, oh yeah, that's her shot right there. She always liked to land that right hand over the jab. That's how she knocked out Terry Harper, and that's her shot. And she dropped Layla, and after that, Layla then like her body language was kind of off, and Alicia did what she wanted to do. Like we always say when we see one-sided ass whoopings, right? We want to see the one who's giving the ass whooping to step up, step on the gas and try to stop their opponent. That's the only thing I would like to see. Her gas tank look good though. So her fighting 3 minute rounds at the pace that she fought at, like if you fight, like she did have a little moment in the 11th where it looked like she got rocked, but she weathered that and she won. But if you're gonna beat Alicia Baumgartner, you're gonna have to first. You gotta have a solid chin and you have a confidence in your chin because she is punching and she's quick with that right hand. But you gotta pressure her. You can't let her sit back and survey the landscape and whatever. You gotta pressure her, and you gotta be smart pressure and try to force her to fight. She wasn't forced to fight. You know what I'm saying? But good win. That was a good win. What's next for her? Look, at 130, it's not much. She gave up her WBC title. We got more on that fight later. 135. I just talked about 135. We got all the names at 135. You know what I'm saying? So, and they all on MVP. So she have an opportunity to step her name like one. Like, I think she's one of the best women's fighters, but she got the opposition. You know what I'm saying, to actually really live up to a top pound for pound fighter. And then with Anthony and Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, we all knew that was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. AJ, AJ, he's talking about fighting in February. They're talking about giving him some kickboxer or something, and then fighting Tyson Fury. We're gonna talk about that later. So it was a big show, though. You know what I'm saying? I like that the fighters was getting opportunities. They wouldn't normally get opportunities. It was live on Netflix. It was some big numbers. Even the prelims on YouTube was big. So that's what's up. It was solid. Is it too early for Caroline? I don't think it's too early, man. I don't think it's too early. Like that's like I don't think so. Those ladies are basically even skill level. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's too early. I would like to see that fight next, to be honest. But I understand the play. If you can build up Caroline just a little bit more, I guess, and if she can unify the division at lightweight, I guess that would give her credence to. I guess that would make her ready. I think she's ready now, but we'll see. But I do think it's about 2 fights away. You know what I'm saying? All right. Yesterday we had the WBC Grand Prix. This is the finals. They had 4 weight classes. Kevin Ramirez, he outpointed Kreshnik. Kreshnik was like outweighed this guy by like 60 some pounds. Ramirez is like a cruiserweight. I think he came in like 202. Just the faster guy, more activity. You know what I'm saying? He was actually pushing the guy back a little bit. And Ramirez he won the fight. So he's a Grand Prix champion in the heavyweight division. And he's supposed to get a top 10 ranking with the WBC. Now I know he won the heavyweights, but maybe he asked for a top 10 ranking in cruiserweight. I'm not sure, but he also get to fight for a silver title. So that's what's up, though. You know what I'm saying? It was an 8 round fight, and Ramirez he came out on top. Let me see. The next fight was Cormilli versus Mejia, Brandon Mejia. That was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Mejia I like him. He came out on top. That was a good fight, though. I thought Mejia, I like his aggression. He can mix up his boxing and aggression. So he was able to beat the Frenchman. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Tursunov versus Utreo. That was a good one. Well, I like Utreo. Utreo, he started off the fight aggressive. You know what I'm saying? He hurt my man. It looked like he busted his nose or some shit. And then he was just going downhill from there. But Tursunov was competitive and he was trying. But I like my man right here. Utreo is good, yo. He got a potential to be a world champion. Like out of all these guys, he look like he probably got the most talent and the highest ceiling. So salute to him. He won. He won for the junior welterweights, and then it was an upset in the finals. I mean, in the main event, Dylan Biggs he upset Derek Pomalone. Pomalone got dropped in the first round. It didn't look like a crazy shot either. And then after that, he just didn't look the same. It looked like he wasn't taking the punches well. I'm not sure if Biggs. It seems like he's. I I didn't think he coming in that he was a crazy big puncher, but obviously last night or yesterday he was hitting hard enough to keep Carmelo at bay. And he was just outworking him, digging to the body. You know what I'm saying? He hurt him like in the last final seconds of the fight. He hurt him to the body, boxing well, counter punching. I mean, Parmelon, he was the favorite coming into this, and he got beat. You know what I'm saying? And he got beat clearly. So salute to Dylan Biggs. He already ranked in the top 15 in the WBC at middleweight. So hopefully he can, climb up the ladder in the division that is kind of wide open as well. So yeah, I like the tournament. It was cool giving these young guys opportunities because all these guys was like 25 and below, which is good, giving them a platform, and then they can go if they want to challenge, go down the WC route and possibly get a world title fight. That's what's up. I ain't mad at that opportunity. Sandor Martin came back yesterday. He fought on the zone, 8 rounder, got an 8 round decision. This guy he was fighting was aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Sandor was boxing and he was on the back foot more this fight, and he was able to pick up a unanimous decision. Good comeback win by him because Sandor Martin is actually a top name at 140. 140 got some good names, and for like up and coming guys, like I keep pairing him with Tito Mercado. I feel like that's the type of win that Tito needs to kind of elevate his standard at 140 against a guy that fought other world champions and gave good efforts. Like he retired Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? That's a big ass feather in your cap because Mikey was a great fighter, and I know the circumstances, but he still retired him. And then arguably he beat Teofimo. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the last fight he lost was Alberto Playo. That fight was pretty close too. So, yeah, Sandor Martin is back in business. Let's see if he can like come over and get bigger fights and see what's up. But I think a Tito Mercado fight actually makes sense. You know what I'm saying, for both because Sandor, if he can beat Tito, he can get back in line for a world title opportunity. And Tito, he can use that name and kind of elevate himself because that would probably be the biggest name on his resume. So, the biggest win of his career too. So we'll see. Callum Simpson versus Troy Williamson. So, before we get to that one, just to talk on a couple fights. Hickey got a win. Well, he had a late replacement. He stopped that L's kid. It was supposed to have been Blair Cobbs, but he pulled out the fight because he was sick right before. I guess he wasn't fit to fight. So, he got to stop his victory. Main event though, we got the upset, man. Wilson ended up stopping Simpson in the 10th round. This was a very important fight for Callum Simpson. I was, I was putting it out there because he's number 5 in the IBF at super middleweight. Well, he was. And we know with Crawford vacating the titles and retiring, he had an opportunity to actually fight for a world title. It was going to be against Iglesias, though. But he would have had an opportunity. But in this fight, Williamson was just too fast. Too fast. He was consistent with his pressure. And he just started to break down Callum Simpson. You know what I'm saying? The first couple of rounds was kind of even. But Williamson started to take over and started to beat up my man. Those right hands over the top was effective, and it got quiet up in there because Simpson was the hometown guy, and then Wilson was just breaking them down, and then he dropped him 3 times in the 10th round to get the upset victory. So salute to him. Put Williamson in his spot. Let him take his number 5 position in IBF, and maybe he get an opportunity at a world title. So man, salute to him. He was an underdog. This was like his second fight at super middleweight. He said he was struggling to make 160 and 154, so he felt good, and he ended up stopping Callum Simpson. So big upset. That's a big blow to Boxer too, because Boxer was really dependent on Callum Simpson to kind of lead the charge, and if Callum Simpson would have won, he would be in position for a lot of big fights, though. Like I mentioned, IBF or even Hamza Shiraz fight. He was in position, but now he got to rebound, go back to the drawing board, and see what's up. Maybe he need to go up to 175. He did look like the bigger guy, and I don't know if it was the weight cut or whatever, but yeah, he got to go back. So that was a good win by Troy Williamson. Let's see what's next for him, and he's a matchroom fighter, so. Um, let's see what Eddie can do for him. Here's a matchroom card from yesterday. They was live in Ghana. Nashawn Dev, he got a win. Nishan Dev. He's from India. You know, he had a quick turnaround. He fought recently, and then he came right back around the fight yesterday. So he got a win, knockout win. Uh, the big prospect Leo Attain, the heavyweight, he got a stoppage win as well. So those are good wins by their matchroom prospects, so they can keep the ball rolling and keep them active. Richards versus Aziz, Dan Aziz. Important fight. This is an IBF regional title, so that tells you what route these guys is going. IBF regional title, international title. So they in position to kind of fight. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna get a world title shot, but maybe eliminator down the line. But yeah, Richards was in control. You know, pretty much boxing well from the outside. Dan Aziz trying to get in. I think tide changed like in the fourth round when Richards hurt Dan Aziz towards the end of the round, and he was in control. You know what I'm saying? He was able to stop him late, which was a nice knockdown. It was kind of out of the blue, came out of nowhere too. He hurt Dan Aziz, and then he hit him with a nice left hook, and his mouthpiece fell out, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So Craig Richards, he's in a great position, like heavyweight on the domestic scene over there. It's some good fights for him. You know what I'm saying? Uh, there's some good fights if they want to keep it on domestic. Even a potential fight with Ben Whitaker in the summer. You know what I'm saying? These guys are basically fighting for the opportunity to fight Ben Whitaker as they try to move his career along and get him in position. So good win by Craig Richards. Like Craig Richards is a good fighter. He's solid. You know, sometimes like only thing with him, he's not as consistent like I would like to see, like the Willie Hutchinson fight. I don't know where he was at that fight, and then he'll come back in this fight and look real good. So, it's up in the air. Let's see. He's in position for a big fight though, so good win by him. All right, Salida Promotions last night on the Zone. So we had so this is Olivia Curry versus Kate Scott, the rematch for the WBC WA Unified titles at middleweight. So let me see. Sedaris got a knockout win over a journeyman, Kobe Kobe Madison. Easy money. He had with a left hook. I don't know. That shit was kind of awkward. But Sedaris Simmons, he got a knockout victory. So salute to him. First round. Easy money. Price Taylor and Michael Coffey, they basically was like a mirror of each other. One old, one young. A slow pace, methodical heavyweight fight. Had spurts of action. You know what I'm saying? Coffee landed a big right hand against Taylor, but Taylor shook it off and kind of played to the crowd. And he landed a nice 3 or 4 punch combination. It wasn't a lot of action going, but Taylor was probably doing the better of the work. And he got the decision victory. Like, I feel like, I don't know, man. Our heavyweight scene over here is kind of crazy. The UK is definitely taking over with the heavyweight the heavyweight scene. I feel like Taylor is a good fighter, but I don't even know. I don't know if how committed or dedicated or whatever. Because I think he got skills. It's just I don't know. He just fight. No, both guys is fighting sluggish. So it is what it is. Tony Harrison, former world champion Tony Harrison. Look, he fought Chavez, Brian Chavez. He's a gatekeeper. And Tony was doing whatever he wanted to do, but he was getting hit with some shots that he shouldn't be getting hit with. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Tony, Tony can fight. One of the best skilled fighters and veterans in the game. But I don't like. I feel like at his stage of his career, he shouldn't be getting hit with no shots like that he can help. But he made it entertaining. He dropped Chavez in the first round. You know what I'm saying? He was basically pressuring him, and they was going toe to toe. Chavez was landing some good shots in there too. That's why I was saying he shouldn't get hit with those shots. Second round, Tony got to more boxing and was using his range, and he was, a little bit of movement in that small ring, and he dominated the second round. Third round, he dropped him again towards the end of the round. When he started to come forward, he actually started to get busy. And then the fourth round, he just stopped playing with him and started to take it to him. and Tony landed a nice body shot to drop Chavez and finish the show. So yeah, bro. Tony is done at the top level. You know what I'm saying? He's done. He if he was to fight any of these young guys or any of the top 15 guys in middleweight, it might be a wrap for him. But he called out Earl Spence. You know, when he called him out, I was thinking that's not a bad idea. That's not bad because we haven't seen Earl Spence in a long time. I know he don't do no tune ups and all that shit, whatever, right? But at this stage, it's okay to do one. And Tony is perfect. He got a big name. He can sell the fight. Uh, and he's diminished. We don't know what type of Earl Spence we're gonna get. And they said Earl Spence been wanting to fight at 160 for the longest. Even if it's at 157 or something, 158, whatever, he don't have to struggle to make weight. I think that's actually a good comeback fight for Spence. You know what I'm saying? Given if he want to do it, I'm not sure his situation. We see him come. We see him at the Frank Martin fight and the Virgil Ortiz, but kind of nothing. No big word of him coming back per se. But I like the Tony Harrison fight though for Spence. You know what I'm saying? Because Tony he's washed. We like this. Keep it a buck. He got skills and he still can beat certain level of guys. But with Spence, if he's going to fight like he did last night against Spence, and if Spence is anything like he was before, that can be a good ass fight. I don't know. I like that idea though. Let's see. Let's see. Phyllis Nunez in the building. What's good with you, bro? Lee Jackson in the building. Salute. What's good with y'all? Salute to y'all coming through. The main event, we had Kay Scott versus Olivia Curry. This was a rematch from September. A good fight, you know what I'm saying, but had bad decision. I thought Kay Scott won the first fight, like she won this fight. Same type of fight, you know what I'm saying? Kay Scott was boxing on the outside, landing an occasional right hand, and Olivia Curry tried to get in. She got cut early, head clash, but it was the same type of fight. You know, she, it's like they really didn't make no adjustments. So you know, what I'm saying Kay Scott, she's a unified champion at middleweight. She won the vacant unified titles. So I know we have in middleweight, right? We have Desley Robinson is the other unified champion. She got the other two belts, IBF and WBO. These ladies already fought. I think they split a pair of fights. Kay Scott and Desley Robinson. Desley Robinson is with MVP. And then MVP also have Tam Taboo, who I think is the best fighter in this division in middleweight. She can fight 6'2", southpaw from Canada. They got some pop. She's the WBA mandatory for Kay Scott. So that fight will probably get made sometime top of the year. Whenever, they can make a deal. It's funny while I'm watching the fight last night. This is the top of the middleweight division, and I hear people calling for Carissa Shields to move down to fight to go on a diet and move down to 160 to fight these type of fighters, bro. None of them is on that level. They cool with they cool where they at. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if they can unify the division though. You know what I'm saying? Because I think with Desley Robinson, it could be a good fight. They fought each other before, but I think Tam Taboo is way better. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta fight the fights. We'll see. But good win though, and good comeback. But it won't really a lot of adjustments in the main event. It just did what they do. All right, so that's what it is. All right, later on. Oh, well, hold on. We got one more from last night. Yo, we had a crazy upset in the main event. Uh, my man Frank, he knocked out Cortez like in the first 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Hit him with a left hook. That was it. Um, yeah, it wasn't nothing to talk about. Left hook and good night. It was like I think it was 14 seconds, bro, the official time. This is on ESPN Plus down in Mexico. So that was crazy. That was a nasty left hook and an upset. Argie Cortez, we remember him. He fought a lot of top guys and stuff, came up short. But yeah, that was crazy. So that was from last night. And then today, the only card I'm tracking is the card from Nigeria with Lawrence Okoli versus Tete. And then you have Tony Yoka. So this will be live on the zone if you guys want to tap in with it. All right, news and notes. What we got first? So, for the ones that's coming in or whatnot, this is a segment where we just break down some news and notes of the week, talk about some fight announcements. Uh, what I'm saying? Fight signings. We also talk about, we're going to talk about retirements, potential fights, whatever may come up. So feel free, drop your comments, you know what I'm saying? Join to the conversation. It's all good. All right. Keep it rolling. Lyndon Arthur, light heavyweight contender in the UK. He just signed with Queensberry, coming off a good win against Bradley Ray. Makes sense. He got dropped early in that fight, where he got back up, used his good educated jab, and he was able to win that fight. So he, like I said, light heavyweight in that domestic scene, got some good fights. Lyndon Arthur, Joshua Waxy, Ezra Taylor is going to fight Willie Hutchinson. Queensberry is invested in the light heavyweight division. Even Anthony Yard, if he can come back, I know Yard and Arthur fought a trilogy, and we don't need to see that no more. But Lyndon Arthur is a solid signer based on his performance in his last fight, and he got an opportunity for a big fight. He was in the ring with Bivol. They put up a real great effort. But domestic level, he can do some things. So let's see what's next for him. Even this is a good potential opponent for Ben Whitaker. You know what I'm saying? Ryan in the building. What's good with you, bro? Boxing Talk up north. Salute to you, bro. Make sure you guys tap in with his channel. Doing some great stuff in Canada, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I was able to check out your live with the live boxing. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. What else we got? All right, so we have Nashida, Ryo Nashida. He's a former world champion at 118 pounds, IBF champion. He's moving up in weight at 122. He got a title eliminator coming up. He's going to face Mercado. I think it's February the 15th or something like that. So this was the news for him. Like I said, guys is getting in position for, title eliminators in lieu of anyway possibly exiting the division. We know anyways plan at 122. He's going to fight next week against Picasso. And then in May, they're looking at a big mega fight with him and Junto Nakatani. And depending on what happens there, anyway, if he wins, if he beat Junto Nakatani in May, it ain't nothing left for him to do at 22. So, of course, boxing fans is going to push for him to go to 26. So that would open up a door for 4 vacant titles. Nashida get a win, he's in position to fight for one of those vacant titles, the IBF. So that's the news right there. You know what I'm saying? I like him. He's a good fighter. Coming off a loss, but he can do some things. Blessings. What's good with you, bro? B3 pick. Salute to you. I appreciate you coming through. I can see that happening. You know what I'm saying? It depends on it. I don't know. Let's see if Eddie, strike that deal. And I don't think Crocker is in position to turn down like a big bag. So I can see it happening though. You know what I'm saying? Because Crocker is in a voluntary position, and if he don't get a big fight now, he probably ain't gonna get one until next year because of the IBF, mandatory is gonna be coming. Leon Paro versus Patty Donovan. You know what I'm saying? So he might want to strike where he got the opportunity. Now, I don't know how the negotiations is going, but it seems like a fight that should be kind of easy to make, especially if Turkey is involved. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's a good possibility, bro. All right, moving on. Jazza Dickens, he lost his fight with Susumi. He's supposed to have a title defense next week on the Anyway card. Japan versus the world. We know Jazza Dickens just got elevated to full champion, WBA champion, after Lamont Roach got stripped or vacated, however you want to put it, for fighting Pitbull Cruz. So this fight got more interesting. But Susumi, he had to pull out with an eye injury. Look like he got a not a detached retina. What's the other one? Orbital bone. He hurt his he injured his orbital bone, so he's gonna be out for a minute. And also Jazza Dickens, look, Now he kind of like in the driver's seat, right? And look, this is my. I'm gonna show y'all my tweet based on it was the week when Shaq Foster vacated his WBC lightweight interim title, and this is what I said, right? This is my tweet. So we gonna do some receipts on my damn self, right? Look, yo, I was like, yo, I think Shaq should go after the WBA champion. You know what I'm saying? Now this is, of course, it was before um, Susumi pulled out. So I'm like, shit. He kind of teased the fight fans about pursuing a Shakur fight, which we knew that was probably not realistic. But what really made sense for him to keep his title, because why keep the fake title and give up the real title? You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense if you really look at it. So I'm like, shit, fight the WBA champion. I gave my reasons. Y'all on the same schedule. You know what I'm saying? And that normally happens. And then he said the reason for him to stay at 130 to get a unification with Navarrete and Nunes. And like I mentioned, Charlie Suarez is the mandatory, and he's supposed to get the fight with Navarrete. It's just a long, bro. It's just whatever. You know what I'm saying? He already couldn't get a unification with Navarrete, and him and Navarrete on the same side of the street. So I said, go to the WBA route. And lo and behold, yeah, yeah. They say they don't be watching. They say they don't be paying attention, but they watching and they paying attention. If the shit makes sense and you put it out there and you know what I'm saying, I'm verifying this shit. So not to toot my own horn, but my thing is, I just want to make realistic fights. You know what I'm saying? I'm tapped in with the game enough that I know what makes sense at this point in time. I may not have no manager license, but shit, give me one then. Look what this what he's saying. So this was right after Susumi pulled out, and then here comes Shot. He want to make the fight with Jazza Dickens. Boom. Last week, nobody was talking about Jazza Dickens versus Shock Foster versus except for this one right here. So we setting trends. We're making sure everybody is good to go. We're making sure people is knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying? So tap in. I hope they make the fight. I did my part as a boxer fan. I put it out there because a lot of boxers and managers and promoters they'll say us boxer fans don't know shit about boxing. You know what I'm saying? They'll tell us that quick. If something happens, let's say we get something wrong, or let's say we want this certain fight, and they'll say, "Oh, y'all don't know how the business work," and blah blah blah. Okay, well maybe I know a little something too, because my man called them out. It makes sense. Let's see if they can make that fight happen. You know what I'm saying? Shock Foster is in a good position coming off that win against Forza. You know, I think this actually makes sense for a turkey card. If they can do it in Saudi, it makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, push my man back. It wasn't his fault the dude pulled out. So maybe they can readjust and make a bigger fight. I think Shock is in some good shape and that he can, he'll be ready. So why not? That's his clearest path to unification. You know what I'm saying? He gonna have to do something, even though fans might not want this, but he the one. Look, that's why I'm saying don't fans always go for the low hanging fruit without doing their research on if it's realistic, and then you end up overdoing it, overhyping it, and you start getting let down at the end. Everybody's saying that shot was going in Shakur, right? Rightfully so. But realistically, was that fight ready to happen? You know what I'm saying? So like when you talking about it, the breakdown of it, the situation, are you actually saying it's realistic? You know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up and getting fooled by what these fighters be talking about. If you know what I'm saying, if you really understand the play, they're just talking. They're supposed to talk to each other like that. They don't like each other. But at the end of the day, I knew him keeping that WBC interim title at lightweight wouldn't have made too much sense because Shakur just fought his mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll have to wait probably another 9 months to a year to even get that opportunity. So it was just weird. But this makes sense. You know what I'm saying? If you want to unify, it makes sense. So let's go. We starting trends and we gonna make sure we help these fighters out, bro. We're gonna make sure everybody good, especially if it makes sense. That's what I do. I like y'all know I like to make sure everybody is the knowledge game is on point, and we like to make sure shit's straight. So and they agree because look, he called my man out. Last week he didn't even say his name, and I put that out there in the atmosphere. And here we go. Let's go. Yes, sir. We're gonna make it happen. All right. So Amanda Serrano got a new opponent, man. Let's discuss this. Marlon Prince in the building was good. Thomas Hill was good. Salute. She said salute to that. Oh yeah, Ryan Frazier in the building. My man JC, what's good with you, bro? All right, so Amanda Serrano, she gets a new opponent. Her original opponent, former champion Erica Cruz, who she fought before, tested positive for clenbuterol. That's the meet in Mexico. It was like a low percentage, but Amanda Serrano's team decided to move forward, and they picked Raina Tellez. Um, I'm not really mad at this, because it's a late replacement, 2 or 3 weeks notice, and Tellus is with Box Lab. Box Lab is basically a partner with MVP. A lot of their shows, a lot of MVP prospect shows have Box Lab fighters. So not really mad at that. We did a show about a potential opponent for Amanda Serrano. I was thinking it was going to be Magaline Rodriguez, which made sense too. But Tellus is moving up from 122, and she got the opportunity. 13-0, 5 knockouts. I seen her fight live before. She fought like on the first fight of Tank versus Frank Martin. When the doors open, she was the first fight, and I was watching that shit. And I seen that she was with Jose Benavidez. So she's a come forward fighter. She pretty solid, but Amanda should have no issues. You know what I'm saying? I think Amanda should win. It fits what Amanda's style is and what she like to do. One of the best to ever do it. So she's defending her unified featherweight titles, WBA and WBO, Ring Magazine. This fight is 10 rounds, 3 minutes. So, you know, um, we saw Amanda fight 3 minutes before, and she went the distance. And she's a big knockout artist. A lot of people saying that thinking, she got more time, she should get a knockout. But I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what's happened with this. A lot of the 12 round, we said Alicia go all 12 rounds and stuff. So I guess I don't know. I don't know the correlations to the knockout for that because I'm thinking Amanda don't need 3 minutes. That's what I'm thinking in my mind because she already got 31 knockouts in 2 minutes. So let's see. So yeah, they keep the show going. This is January the 3rd, and Puerto Rico gonna kick off the new year. So that's what's up. And tell us she's not with. I think she fights out of San Antonio, but she's not with Benavidez Senior no more. She's not with Benavidez Senior anymore. So let me put that out there. Winston Lee, what's good with you, bro? Salute. All right, keep pushing. All right, so we got the announcement of Sabrina Matisse and Dalton Smith undercard January the 10th. We're gonna touch on that. We know this fight was in danger a couple weeks ago, but Matisse was cleared for testing positive. He had a low amount of ostarine in his system, A and B sample. So the fight continued. It's for the WC title at 140 pounds. It's going to be at the Brooklyn Barclays Center, January the 11th on paper. No, January the 10th on pay-per-view. So if you guys want to tap in, feel free. But here's the undercard. They just announced Alfredo Santiago. I think he's number two. He's number two in the WBO, right behind Keyshawn Davis. He's going to face Henry Cerdano. That's a good fight. That's a good fight right there. I like that. You know what I'm saying? It'll put them in position and get them closer to a world title opportunity. We know Teofimo defended his WBO against Shakur. And even, if Teofimo wins, he still ain't doing mandatory until like September, October of next year. Because he got 18 months as a super champion after beating Barbosa, his mandatory. So these guys would just be in line and close to a world title. Javier Centron is back against Rodriguez, Jonathan Rodriguez. That's a solid fight right there. Yeah, super bantamweight. That's a good fight. We have the return of Manny Rodriguez, former world champion, against Fernando Diaz. I thought Rodriguez retired, but he's back. He's a good fighter if he's active, former world champion. Nesta Bravo versus Pedro Campa. Campa is the only guy that Teofimo stopped at 140. That was his last knockout win. And Bravo, kind of, I don't know. He says, I don't. I feel like he should have been kind of moved along in his career more. Like I don't know, but I know he coming off a loss to the African kid in an upset. So not singer. So you know what I'm saying? It's a Mexico versus Puerto Rico matchup. So let's see. Not a bad undercard to be honest, but pay per view, we got our opinions about that. So we'll see. But yeah, this is a card. Matisse versus Dalton Smith, January the 10th. You know what I'm saying? The Barclays Center. All right, talk about Nunez. He said, how he got cleared. You were allowed a certain amount in your system. Yeah, the Osterine. So the New York State Athletic Commission, the limit for Osterine is like 0.1. He came in under that. I think it was like 0.085, something like that. So I guess they having cases of Osterine, what I'm saying, contamination in their state with UFC and boxing. So he was under the limit. In contrast to what Ryan Garcia, who was 6.0, you know what I'm saying? He was 60 times over the limit. You know what I'm saying? So it was a big difference. But I feel like this is how I feel about that situation. If Matisse didn't hit the threshold, if he didn't hit, let me put him up. Let me go back. If Matisse didn't hit the threshold for the limit to, rule it as a positive or, him failing a test, if it didn't hit that threshold, why even report it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even report it in the media? You can report it to both teams and say, hey, look, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? He's under the limit, but we want to let you know. I'm talking about the team Dalton Smith. Let him know. Listen, the dude test positive, but he didn't hit the threshold, so he's good by New York. But they made a big thing. My situation is, and when I look at it, if you test positive, you got anything in your system, bro, I think it's a red flag because you should be responsible enough to know what's going on in your system at this high level with all this millions of dollars at stake. You know what I'm saying? But they cleared them, so it is what it is. Fight still goes on. But there's always gonna be questions about Matisse for the rest of his career. So this is what he, like all of snack fighters have question marks. Same thing. If you test positive, whether it's under the limit, whatever, if it's in your system, you're gonna always get that heat. All right. So here's an undercard fight that was added to Caballero versus Kibia, January the 10th in Germany. We have Yair Herrera versus Ricardo Nunez. And we know Nunez is a former opponent of Tank Davis. He fought him in Baltimore a couple years ago. Herrera, we haven't heard much from him. Last time I heard of him, he was calling out Shakur and all this, and they had been quiet. I don't like that shit, bro. I like to see these guys active. Like that's what you call a clout chase. But it's good. Everybody clout chase, but be consistent, man. We forgot about Herrera, and he's an exciting young fighter. Got a high knockout ratio. Kind of remind me of De Los Santos. So I'm like, bro, we don't hear from you unless a big name is attached. You know what I'm saying? Which you can use that and just keep the momentum going and just keep talking shit like every week, say something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But these guys is fighting for the WBC lightweight interim title. Ring a bell, right? That damn lightweight interim title been passed around like a mug last month or two. Last month. This is Steve Fulton's belt. You know what I'm saying? This belt was created for Stephen Fulton when he missed weight, so they wanted to keep the show together and whatever. So this was the original fight for the WBC interim title. The WBC that week of Fulton and Foster, they ordered this fight for the interim title. Then they reneged on it. Then Shock Foster vacated it. Then they gave it back to. So they just reneging and giving it back and ending and giving all that shit. But this is a big opportunity for the winner. They're being positioned to fight, be the mandatory for Shakur Stevenson, and then depending if he ever come back. If let's say Shakur don't come back, these guys can possibly be elevated. So it should be interesting. Nunez can punch, but he's faded. He done turned to like a journeyman type of guy. And Herrera, this is a big opportunity for him to kind of, definitely, if he wins, definitely get on that top rope and call out Shakur and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Hype yourself back up because we ain't heard from him in a while. So it'd be good to see him. Let's get it. This is January the 10th in Germany, live on the Zone. I'm hearing they got a sellout crowd out there with Cabiel, so should be a good atmosphere. Salida Promotions announced a card for January 22nd. Joshua Pagan versus Brian Jimenez. This I think this is gonna be in Detroit, I believe, Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids. So that's what's up. Pagan, he had a good win. His last fight, solid fighter. So fights at lightweight as well. Also, we have a world title fight on the card. Delphine Persoon, she's a future Hall of Famer. She's gonna face Caroline Very. This is for the vacant WC title at 130. So this is the belt that Alicia Baumgartner vacated to fight 3-minute rounds. Um, so yeah, Persoon, man, she just got that ugly style. She fights southpaw, right? She just be throwing punches. Carolina's a good boxer, but she don't have no power like that. If she kind of use the ring and counter punch, she can win this fight. Delphine is kind of she's passing a little bit. She's coming off an injury. I think she had a knee injury in the Alicia Baumgartner fight. So yeah, big opportunity for Caroline to become world champion. All right, so we have the LA Fight Nights is back, kicking off their season for the new year. So January the 23rd, we got Sanchez versus Ramirez. So the local promoters in Southern California pretty much put their fighters on the card. Robert Garcia, Golden Boy, Paco presents. So yeah, they had a series. They started this series last year. I remember Kevin Johnson fought on this series. You know what I'm saying? So they doing it again. So that's what's up. More boxing for us boxing fans. And we can catch this live on the Zone. Pro Box announced their first card for next year. Pro Box has been like one of the leaders in boxing this year, going crazy with their cards. Here's their first card: Brian Flores versus Starlin Castillo. This is 140 pounds. I think Brian Flores is like 27-1, something like that. He only got one loss. He lost to Landolfo Delgado in a fight. It was a pretty close fight too. And Starlin Castillo, he's coming off a win over Shanard Bunch. And he only got one loss as well. So pretty good fight. We have an aggressive fighter like Flores, and you have like a counter puncher, southpaw, and Castillo. So that should be solid. And this card is a DC, so they're gonna load up the undercard with all DMV fighters. Scarborough Jr., Jordan White coming off a loss. Sagawa. Sagawa is actually in the co-main event. He's fighting an undefeated Mexican fighter. Um, so yeah, he's a solid fighter at featherweight. Ben Johnson, who looked good in his last fight on the Roach and Pitbull card. You got Jordan Roach, that's the younger brother of Lamont. David Whitmire and Trayvon Marshall. So a lot of good talent, bro. DC got a lot of talent right here, and they're gonna be performing on this undercard in Maryland, January the 30th. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a good look. You know what I'm saying? Get these young guys active. Pagan low key impressed me against Montgomery. Yeah, he did. He showed a lot of toughness in that fight, and he outfought Montgomery. It was a cut in that fight, but he stopped him, right? Yeah, he stopped him, I believe. Or was it a cut? I can't remember, but he did look good. I just remember from that fight, he was tough as hell in that fight. Yeah, good little pro box card. Yeah, bro. Yeah, it is. It's a good card. Let's see who they what type of opponents they give these guys. So yeah, solid. Let me see. You think Cardenas? Man, that's a good fight, man. I hope, man. Look, if it's for a world title, yes, that's a good fight. Yeah, I'm with that fight. I think if it definitely was a world title on the line, I think it's definitely a potential fight. Yeah. Dina Thorson is back. We spoke on her earlier. She was out of the ring with some personal issues. She's the number one fighter at 118. And I know we got an undisputed champion, Shanika Johnson, but Dana is still number one to me. If she win her comeback fight January 31st, she's gonna fight Shanika Johnson sometime next year. She signed with MVP as well, so this will be on the zone. The main event for this card is an important fight at 168. Given that the belt's about to be vacant, William Skull, former world champion, against Jacob Bank. This is the main event. January 31st. Jacob Bank is number 4 in the WBO. So depending on how the ball bounces, he can be in position for a mandatory opportunity or possibly a vacant world title fight. And William Skull, he trying to get that Canelo stink up off him. Even though he did box well per se, he would have won against anybody else with that performance. But he could have stepped it up a little bit too. He could have touched on Canelo a little bit more. But yeah, so he trying to get it back. So yeah, Dana Thorson is gonna fight on that card. So good to see her back though. Hopefully everything is good with her. Z Pacino in the building. What's good with you, bro? Salute to you. Yes, sir. I like Dana. Dana can fight. All right. Boxer, they announced a signing with Kraus. This is a light heavyweight guy. You know what I'm saying? He excited and shit, but they say he's gonna be like the next. Like they basically like one of his promoters I heard say him and Benavidez will be a super fight down the line. I don't know if that's true, but he is coming off a good knockout victory a couple weeks ago. So he signed with Boxer. Boxer like they on their last leg. I don't know. They've been taking a lot of hits this year. So let's see what they do with this signing. Light heavyweight. He's a light heavyweight. He's strong. He's the guy that had the ring walks with his daughter. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that shit went viral or not. So Kraus, he just signed with Boxer. Boxer also announced the return of Adam Azam. He's going to face Gustavo Limos January the 31st. So we all know January 31st is a big boxing day. We got so much boxing on January 31st, and I'm ready for it. So, I mean, on paper, this should be solid. It's solid name recognition. Gustavo Limos, he's noted for the fight he had with Hitchens, where he put up a great effort. I thought he came up short in that fight. A lot of people thought he won, but and then the Keyshawn Davis, that was just a disaster. Getting stopped in the second round and missing weight, and the whole shit was crazy. So he came back with a win not too long ago. Well, he looked kind of so. You know what I'm saying? He got to stop his win, but he was getting touched up a lot. Adam Azam, this is a perfect style opponent for him because Gustavo Limon he gonna start to come in and be rough and rugged, and he can use his hand speed. And I can see a spectacular night for Adam Azam. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. He had a solid performance against a late replacement, Kurt Scooby. He dominated that fight, his last fight, and yeah, it's good that he turned it around real quick because he fought in November. Now he's fighting at the end of January, so that's good. So it just announced that Francesca is back. Hennessy, you know what I'm saying? She's fighting for a WBC and a title eliminator at 122 pounds. So we just seen her fight too. She fought November 29th, and she's right back. So that's good. You know what I'm saying? They keeping the lights on and boxer. So yeah, let's see what else they add to this card. But I'm glad that they're keeping the young guys active. They've been taking a lot of hits though. Losing Caroline Dubois is a big hit, and then what? Frazier Clark lost. That was one of the guys they was depending on. Callum Simpson just lost. They lost their network deal with Sky Sports. Man, shit's crazy over there right now. It's we had a lot of boxing. Yes, no, we did, bro. We did. Yep, I enjoyed it too. Let me see. Limo, Limon for the upset. I don't know if Boxer can rebound from Simpson loss, bro. I'm telling you, man. They took some hits, right? Yo, who had the worst year this year? Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, and Ben Shalom. Which one? That's a poll right there. I'm gonna put that poll out. Who had the worst year of 2025? bro, they took a lot of hits. You think Pat Brown versus Moses Atomic? Oh hell yeah, yes, yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's a big fight in the future. I play LD. What's good with you, bro? He said, "Shit, man, that's a tough one." They all did. Like honestly, no shade or no shots. But you know, at the end of the year, we do all types of awards, right? Fighter of the year, knockout of the year, round of the year, trainer of the year, promoter of the year. Who had the most fucked up 2025? Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, or Ben Shalom? You know what I'm saying? I'll be interested to see. Tank gonna win the poll because Tank is the most polarizing guy. But look, Keyshawn destroyed his city and got everybody fired off Top Rank, and he looking crazy. Lost his title, missed weight, and he just been looking crazy ever since. Like every interview since then, I ain't been trying to take him seriously. Ben Shalom lost a whole network, losing fighters, beef. He basically getting the short end of the stick with the beef with him and Eddie, and he's like on the outside looking in. I don't know. Tank Davis, he should have lost to Lamont Roach. He got in these domestic situations. Missed out on a big bag with Jake Paul. I don't know. He said, "Oh, Michael James, what's good with you, bro? Good morning. Salute to you." He said, "I say Tank, man. You can't go wrong. I mean, shit. You gotta throw a Roach in there. Well, you see, you can put him on the pole. You can because he got the short end of the stick with those. Yeah, he got the short end of the stick, but his shit kind of went up from that. So I guess you know what I'm saying he might get like about 8% maybe, depending on who the fuck with him. But yeah, he did get those two draws. Keyshawn, because Tank he can bounce back. Yeah, that's a good point. And then Keyshawn, he got his brothers fired, bro. Them dudes was the background dancers. Now they ain't shit. They fired now. He said lost. Yeah, Lamont. See Lamont. So it's like to me, I look at it. Let me take this now. I look at it. I see what you're saying because he got the draws and shit like that. But he actually won this year because his name ain't never been popping all his life. The Tank Davis fight did a lot for him, and then even the Pitbull fight. So he's still in a good position for 2026. What position Tank in? You know what I'm saying? Other than his fans putting him in situations that he ain't even asked for. They say he coming back, and he ain't got no signs of that. Um, but if he do, he's in a good position because he always gonna be in a good position because he's the star, right? But he ain't talking about coming back. He said he gonna take a break. You know what I'm saying? So it's a debate though. Who had the worst year? But all those guys can probably see themselves on a pole. You know what I'm saying? So that shit funny. Is that background dancer? That's what I'm saying. Like that's the only reason why Top Rank signed him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He said, I hate to ask you this when you're talking about real boxing, but I seen the clips of it. No, you good, bro. Whatever you want to ask is good, bro. I did see the clip of that shit, bro. I didn't watch the whole fight. I seen the clip and I was like, bro, this shit is atrocious. Like boxing, like as a boxing purist, I was like, bro, what these dudes doing? But I ain't really take none of it. It won't. I ain't have no expectations. But I seen the clip. I seen the clip on basically all those fights. Um, I seen Amado won. I seen Tony Ferguson. He hurt that dude late in the fight. Like I seen the clips, but I ain't watched the fights like that. He said exactly. But it's all good, bro. You can change the subject anytime you want. Xander Zayas versus Abaz Baru. Their undercard got announced. We know January 31st, like I mentioned, it's gonna be a crazy day of boxing. I don't think they announced where they gonna show this fight at. I don't think they announced it yet. I think it's gonna be on pay per view in Puerto Rico, but in the U.S., I'm not sure. Put that shit back on Tubi, yo. People be joking about Tubi. That shit free, no subscription. Put that shit on Tubi again. But here's the undercard though for you. He said one day one of these influence people going to get sick. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But I don't know why they pick boxing. I don't know. I don't know. Like all the sports, they pick boxing. They ain't pick no influence of basketball. I know why though, because uh, no matter like what Max Kellerman said this analogy, and I agree with it. Like if we see all these sports on the street corner, everybody gonna go watch the fight. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pull out our camera and watch the fight. We don't care if somebody get crossed up. Okay, we've seen that before. But we see two girls over there fighting, motherfuckers gonna run over there and see what's to it. He said Xander ducking. Shit, Xander got a claim that people ducking him. Go ask Fundora. But yeah, this unification title fight at 154, it should be fun. But here's the undercard though. Got some solid names on there. We got Rohan Polanco. He's gonna face Christian Gomez. Polanco, he's one of the biggest losers, because Brian Norman lost. Brian Norman, if he would have beat Devin Haney, Polanco would probably got a title shot against Brian Norman, homecoming fight in the A. So he loses out, but he's still a good, solid welterweight, and he can get in position. So that's why people say welterweight is trash. I don't think so. Like welterweight is a good, excuse me, it's a more parity division now. It may not have your favorite names that you want to talk about, but mismatches. Like if you don't want to see a mismatch, but if you like 50-50 fights, this division can possibly give you that. So let's see what Rohan Polanco do coming back. Yuri Cedeno, he's on the card. He's a southpaw middleweight contender. He's gonna face William Etienne, the dude that Troy Isaac just fought, the dude from Brazil. That's an interesting fight right there. That dude, he got some long arms and he's tough. So Cedeno is on the card. Um, we have the return of Giovanni Santillan. He's making his 154-pound debut. He's going to face Courtney Pennington. Remember, he was supposed to. It was Top Rank. If Top Rank had they had their way, Top Rank would have made Xander versus Santillan his first title defense. But to Xander's credit, and my man called Xander a duck, he vetoed that Top Rank in-house fight, and he chose to fight a unification with Abbas Baru. So I'm saying, gotta give him props on that. And then you got Juan son, Juanito. He's on the card, to get some Puerto Rican flavor. So that's what it is. They haven't announced the platform yet, so I'm just waiting for that. He said trying to unify as a duck. Him turning down Santillan should be applauded. I used to be a Tank fan. He can box and got the equalizer. He just don't want the real competition. Um, I lost interest in Tank because of how he said he's not really tapped in with boxing no more. Like he don't seem, interested in boxing. So if you don't seem interested, then I'm not interested. You know what I'm saying? But he can fight his ass off though. So I get it. But you tell me you ready to get out the game, then I'm already looking to the next on some Don King shit. I'm trying to sound like a duck. Santillan is a bomb. That's gonna be a tough fight to watch. Henry can't lose. Now, man, I'm telling you, man. But that's Henry. You talk. That's Yuri. You talk about Henry. I got you though. I got you. Um, that's Yuri. That you talking about fighting that Brazilian. But his brother, who you talking about, Henry. Let me pull it up. I got you, bro. Henry is fighting on the Matisse card. Where he at? Henry is fighting Alfredo Santiago. But I got you. You know what I'm saying? I know what you were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just to clear it up, but we good. Let me see. Is Benavidez Zerto still a possibility? Yeah, it's still a possibility for sure. Um, that's gonna be in Japan on a Saturday. It's on the third. It's on the third. Nakatani and anyway, that's on the third on that Sunday. So I don't think it's going to interfere. But yeah, that's gonna be crazy. It's still a possibility. He said, "Want to fight? I got you, bro." Young Santana, man. Hopefully he get added, bro. Hopefully he get added to the card. Yeah, that's his son. Yep, that's his son, Walmart's son. So yeah, that's what it is. All right, this fight right here, this is Ramon Freeze versus Tommy Punch. He got another last name, I forgot it. Crashlet, but this is better because I can pronounce it. This is for the WBO Cruiserweight interim title for Zerto Ramirez. So originally it's supposed to be Ramon Freeze versus Chris Bell Smith. Chris Bell Smith didn't like that low ass money, so they gonna do this fight right here, March the 7th. To me, man, I don't even like this, to be honest, because Zerto ain't gonna fight the winner. He ain't gonna fight the winner. He gonna fight Benavidez. If he do, so Zerto's supposed to do a comeback fight. It's supposed to be Robin Safar. Safar got an injury, so he won't be ready till like February. So will Zerto still fight to kind of shake the cobwebs out of his shoulder and get ready for the Benavidez fight in May? You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But these guys is fighting for the WO interim at cruiserweight. We had the press conference for Nick Ball and Brandon Figueroa. On paper, this is gonna be a good ass fight. I think their styles can match up. We'll see. I think Figgy kind of looked like he kind of lost a step or two his last couple of fights. He probably should have been 0-2 this year if we're gonna keep it a buck. Because Fulton took him to school, and I thought Joette beat him too. But this is for the WBA featherweight title. This is February the 7th, so it should be fun though. You know what I'm saying? They announced one fight for the undercard, Kane versus Gonzalez. This is a WBC eliminator at 118 pounds. So, they bring it over the Mexicans to fight the UK fighters. So y'all already know how the Mexicans do with them UK fighters over there. Y'all already know. So, you know what I'm saying? Be on guard. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool. Kane and Nick Ball, they're in the same camp. They actually fight the same, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Real similar. Wasn't he supposed to fight Bill Smith? Yeah, that was him. That was him. That was him. First bit, those dudes about to make 65,000. But look, Bill Smith turned that down, and he proclaiming his loyalty to boxer, and we ain't seen nothing. We ain't seen nothing from him since then. So I don't know. Yeah, bro, they be going crazy. So look, every time I see a Mexican fighter going to fighting a guy from the UK in the UK, I kind of perk up a little bit. Like, okay, let me go check them odds out because they've been going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, put that belt. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all stay tuned. All right, so they said these guys is working for a deal. Finally, right? Tyson Fury versus AJ. It's one of those fights where we have to see them in the ring together in the bell ring. They actually fight for us to believe it. So we know AJ is coming off the event with Jake Paul. It was talks about him fighting on February the 14th. They talking about fighting a kickboxer or some shit. I don't know, but I don't know. AJ is with Team Usyk. He's with their trainers. I'm not sure how his elbow, because he had surgery on his elbow. How that elbow came out, messing with Jake. So they saying these guys is working on a deal to fight in September of next year, and both guys will take interim fights. So we'll see, man. Tyson Fury is so unpredictable, man. We don't know what to believe. So I did hear that Tyson Fury supposed to fight uh, Arslan Martmadov. Arslanbek Martmadov. That I'm not mad at that as an interim fight because he's a big, strong guy, 6'5". I guess to get him ready for AJ, they pretty much the same height. But I don't know, whatever. And then AJ, they talk about him fighting a kickboxer. I don't know, bro. If they gonna fight this fight, damn, those guys wasn't been fought. But yeah, so we'll see. And then the last thing, so of course, we know Terrence Crawford announced his retirement this year. I mean, this week, last week, And mixed reviews about it. Myself, I mean, I'm cool with it. This guy really don't have nothing to prove at the end of the day. He basically did everything, and he's one of the most polarizing guys in boxing. He get a lot of hate over his career. He might be tired of that shit. So, I pretty much felt like he wasn't coming back when I seen him win when he beat Canelo and his reaction and how like he was emotional at the end of the fight. And then what he said at the parade to his mama and his grandma, you know what I'm saying? He said we made it. So that right there pretty much said that's a wrap because what he made it to. You know what I'm saying? Because he got more money on the table to make if he decided to try to make it. It's a lot of people got their opinions. I just think this dude. I don't think he would just say I'm retired and make an announcement and not stand on that shit because this dude was like one of the most competitive athletes we ever seen. Right? That dude trying to beat you at everything. So if he's saying he's done, I feel like he's done. And he put in enough work where he shouldn't have to owe nobody, you know what I'm saying, to come back. If we really been honest, he beat everybody. Anytime a fighter retire or anytime a fighter retire, it's always gonna be fights that boxing fans want to put him in. We can go on back. When Joe Calzaghe left on top, they was trying to get him to fight Carl Froch because Carl Froch was on the way up. You know what I'm saying? It happens like that every time when somebody on the way out, it's guys that's left out on the table that boxing fans would like to see him fight. You know what I'm saying? But shit, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I don't think he coming back. Yo, this if you just pay attention to his, the way Crawford moved, you know, in the build up of the Canelo fight, we ain't never seen him do so much appearances. This dude been everywhere: Australia, Turkey, wherever, Dubai, Russia. He been everywhere making appearances. Right? He had a film crew following him around for his last, I guess, year, documenting everything. Happy retirement to Bud. Um, wouldn't have mind the Nello rematch, but at least now those young guns at 68 can fight for the vacants. Yeah, not with that. Yeah, if you're gonna retire, bro, vacate the titles and then let these guys let the shit move on. And yeah, you're right. 147 was log jam because of those guys circling each other and not making the deal when we want to see the fight. Um, but yeah, I just noticed, this dude had a YouTube channel. He got putting out content. He doing all these episodes, and they follow him around in his journey. I feel like that was a sign too. Like he ain't never did that. I don't think I can remember. Maybe you guys can. So, and the way he announced it, I thought it was dope. I think that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We know recently he was in the news about not paying sanction fees to the WBC. I don't think that should matter now. He already vacated his WBO. So that's another thing. When people say, "Oh no, he coming back," all these fighters saying, "Oh, it's fake. He coming back. He's this and that." He vacated. Like when guys retire, most of the time they keep their belts until like the last second. They still got the belt. Like they already announced their retirement. You know what I'm saying? Or when guys said they're moving up, they still hold on to their belt in the lower division. He gave up the WBO. Put this in perspective. The WBO is like tapped in with Crawford. They with Crawford no matter what. They've been with him since 2014, Ricky Burns. So look, yo, that shit, him vacating that says a lot. Him vacating the WBA, all right, whatever. Him vacating the IBF, they stripped him already, whatever. He vacated the WBO first, bro. That says something to me. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to read between the lines, so I don't think he's coming back. Um, but what he said in that clip, he said something about the fight just began. So that made me think too. What fight he talking about? You know what I'm saying? He got custody. I mean, he got custody and he good with his kids. What he talking about? What he fighting for? That made me think about maybe he's going to lock in with TKO. on the administrative part of that and try to see if he can help those guys. I don't know. I just what other fight he trying to do? You know what I'm saying? He gonna build up his community more? That's a fight. I don't know, but I'm thinking he might try to help TKO or the ring. Maybe the ring be like the ring spokesperson or matchmaker, whatever he is. Because Crawford still is a valuable guy in boxing, just because he passed on. He's like a plug. He passed on the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? He's the one of the top. I'm sure the other top fighters do this too, but his is more documented, where he basically giving the game to the younger fighters. You know what I'm saying? He's basically hit like how many of your favorite fighters that's not in camp will go to a fighter's camp and just I'm gonna give you 6 rounds real quick. Make sure you sharp. I ain't never seen Spence. I ain't never heard of Spence doing that. Canelo, I damn sure ain't heard of Tank doing that. How many of your favorite fighters ever done that? Like, I get you don't like Crawford because he beat up your favorite fighter, or you know what I'm saying, he went to top rank and whatever. But as a fighter and how a fighter moves and operate as a boxer, man, that should be your favorite fighter. And he passing the game on to the younger fighters and the guys who want it. Even he passed a game to Nico Ali Watch. I don't know if he's wasting his time, but he passing the game on. So it's crazy. Like, I think that shit is dope when you not in camp and you like, you know what, I'm coming, I'm just gonna spar this dude, see where he at. And that shit is more valuable than shit. A lot of stuff. Just the experience and getting a guy ready. So I always feel like that's dope. So I still think he still would do that. You know what I'm saying? I think once if helping out Shakur, just going to his camp, making sure he on it. You know, he used to do that for Keyshawn. I think that's dope. So we'll see. But I know the back. He said he's not retired. Cap. See, you know what I'm saying? I heard he retired because Victor Conte he passed away and the snack products don't work no more. I heard that he retired because Janabek tested positive, and that was the last straw, man. Bro, that you mean he's he was going to get the money that he was asking for to fight Janabek, bro? Like Janabek, this crazy ass star. You know what I'm saying? He might as well fight Iglesias if we gonna fight Janabek. At least he's a super. You know what I'm saying? He's a champion. I don't know, funny shit. And then look, the ones that don't like him, I think they mad he retired because they about to lose some content on him. Because ain't gonna be shit else to talk about. You know what I'm saying? That's just me being sarcastic. I was like, man, they mad now because the dude they don't got shit to talk about. Now they're gonna have to manufacture a narrative. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. He said, any hunch on what happened? Yeah, okay, yeah, I appreciate the question, bro. Janabek, so he elected to open his B sample. Um, he gonna open his B sample on January the 7th or the 8th, one of them days. So after that, and the B sample is gonna come out the same way the A sample did, and then that's when I think the IBF and WO is gonna strip him. Janabek has been suspended by the ABC Commission. ABC governs boxing in the United States, so he has been suspended. I don't think Texas suspended him yet. They're waiting for the final result. So, yeah, January, the top of January, we should hear some news about him opening his B sample. We know it's the holidays and people are on vacation, whatever. So they're gonna wait till that day. You know what I'm saying? But as of right now, bro, it's not looking good because the PED he tested for is a man-made substance. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody created that shit. That's the shit Povetkin was using. So it's gonna be a wrap for him. Who is Amir Anderson dude? Man, yo, he looked good yesterday. Man, I seen him before, but now my eyes is open. He did call out those guys. I think he called out somebody else too. Yeah, but no, I'm with that, bro. He looked solid. He fought a real boxer last night too. He beat that dude up. So I want to get to know him more. You know what I'm saying? Because he looked good though. I don't know if he beat them. He ain't beat those guys, but I I like when young guys talking that shit. So yeah, I think that's a wrap for Crawford though. I ain't really tripping off of it. You know what I'm saying? When he gone, like he's the type of guy where people gonna start missing him when he gone. They don't respect him now, or they don't. You know what I'm saying? They go at him. They turn down his resume. They do this. They do that. He said, damn, I forgot. My guy Aaron McKenna just signed with. No, he didn't. Oh my God, Aaron McKenna signed. Nah, bro, he not with them no more. He not with them. He just signed with Teofimo's manager. Not Keith Conley, but the other dude. The dude, you seen the press conference for Teofimo and Shakur, right? The dude that was at the end of the table beside Teofimo Senior, that's Teofimo's manager too. Aaron McKenna and his brother Steven signed with that manager. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And he look, man, Aaron McKenna is right there too for the fight for a vacant title. He right there. You know what I'm saying? Boxing been tearing shit up this year, bro. They might be the one. They might have the worst year. Yeah, bro. So yeah, that's what it is, bro. Yeah. Um yeah, so with Crawford though, I think we'll remember him as, when he fought at the top, when he had his toughest opposition on paper, he dominated shit. Made shit look easy. You know what I'm saying? 3-time undisputed, five divisions. Yo, he went crazy. You know what I'm saying? I guess Snack would be linked to him for the rest of his career. I mean, he was only with Snack for what, 5 fights, which the Sean Porter fight. He was 5-0 with 3 knockouts on the Snack. But before Snack, he was on an 8-fight knockout streak. I don't know the correlation to it. Was it really Snack helping him, or he just a great ass fighter? I don't know. That's up for debate. The resume is always going to be called into question. People want to compare his resume and compare him to Floyd. I don't think definitely his resume don't match up. You know what I'm saying? As far as like names and stuff like that. But what do match up is how he dealt with whoever he fought. I mean, he dominated. And to go a whole career without having a split decision victory, that's dope. No matter what you say about him. As far as his competition, I think he got an underrated resume. To be honest, Victor Postal was number 1 when he beat him. You know, people don't rate guys highly because they probably don't know him or they just want to diminish him. But if you really take a look at his resume side by side with some of your favorites, it's pretty much the same, even type shit on certain aspects. Because Postal was a big victory. They had Postal as number 1. And people say who like everybody got their own definition of who is elite. Is it elite in your division? Are you considered elite across the board as one of the top fighters pound for pound? You know what I'm saying? Are you elite because you have a title? Are you elite because you're on a pound for pound list? Like I think Jerron Bruce Ennis is an elite fighter, but he's not on the pound for pound list. He don't have a title right now. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's one of the top 5 most talented and best fighters in boxing. So, how do we determine elite? You know what I'm saying? So, it was Victor Postal elite? He undefeated. Won't he undefeated and elite when Crawford fought him? Because he was number 1 at 140. Danny didn't want to fight him. He had some good wins at 140. He beat Matisse. He beat the Turkey guy, the guy from Turkey, Sardine, I believe his name. Sussler, I forgot his name. The guy from Turkey. So was he considered elite when Crawford fought him in that division, or do we describe the elite as total boxing? You know what I'm saying? Because if that's the case, it's only about 10 to 15 elite fighters in boxing. Period. With thousands of fighters, there's only 10 to 15 elite fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like right now. It's only that. So it depends. I say he was an elite for his division. If you number one in the division, you elite. You the guy. You know what I'm saying? Crawford beat him. I think Phyllis Diaz was an underrated win because I thought Diaz actually beat the former champion Lamont Pearson. He got a raw deal, and then Bud fought him. It wasn't no competition. So that's what I'm saying. When Bud fights some of these guys, the fights don't be looking like that. Like, why the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Him stopping Sean Porter, nobody was think that was a happen. Because Sean Porter ain't never been hurt like that, right? Well, he was dropped by Spence. So there's other guys too. And then, like I said about Bud's resume, right? People would say he ain't fought nobody, and what this guy did, and after he fought him, a lot of the fighters that Bud fought, those guys ain't never the same. Gamboa, Phyllis Diaz. Phil Diaz lost his next fight to Santana. Postal, when Postal lost to Crawford, he got dropped by a prospect in his next fight. Uh, Molina, Molina, he he gave Broner a tough fight, and Bud went crazy on him. And when he retired shortly after that, like I'm just saying, he beat Matisse. So it's like his resume gets a lot of heat because people don't really. It's like they don't give him the benefit of the doubt like they give other people. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. If you don't fuck with him, you're not going to value the wins that he had against Phyllis Diaz and Postal. They still trashed the Ndongo fight, but Ndongo was sleeping shit. He went on the road to win his world titles. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It depends on how knowledgeable are you of the fighters, because I always say the resume is built on where like how what was that guy at in that division when you beat him? What was his standing? Was he coming off a loss, long layoff? So such and such was coming off of some great wins. That validates your resume. You know what I'm saying? He said, Mike, who was that? Mike, who was it? My bad, I missed that. Oh man. I like anyway, but shit. John 2 gonna be on his head. Let's see. That's gonna be fun too. I'll pick anyway. I pick anyway. Um so yeah, that's what it is. Dude had a great career, bro, and he did it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? He did it a certain way. When he was being kind of blocked out of that situation. He said, Bud put the belt to a TB and sparring. Salute to Tim for dropping that exclusive. Yeah, yeah, that put him on the map. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never knew who he was until Tim Bradley said, bro, that's a world champion right there. So, it's all good though. I don't think he should come back. I think he's good, you know what I'm saying? Especially with all um, you know what I'm saying, the bullshit that that some of that shit is self inflicted, and I get it. You don't have to if you don't like dude, you don't like dude. You know what I'm saying? But what he done in the ring though, shit, that shit can't be it gotta be respected. Oh, that's his name. Okay, 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 okay. I appreciate it. I gotta look into it, but I know that's the guy who represents Tiafimo um along with Keith Conley. So yeah, yep, he signed with him. That was the dude on the dais for Shakur versus Tiafimo when they did that press conference. So yeah, I appreciate that, bro. Yes, sir. All right, so that's it, man. Salute to everybody coming through the building. I appreciate the time. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We're gonna close out the year for fights. So we know this is the time of the year in boxing where it get kind of slim because we got the holidays and Christmas, New Year's, and all types of shit like that. So we might not have the most active schedule, but we got some stuff next week. Anyway, we get to see Nakatani. We're gonna talk about that card. We also have another fight from Japan with one of my favorites. You know what I'm saying? Masamichi. Uh, my man Masamichi fighting Yabuki. Yo, I like him, bro. He's fun. He's a fun fighter. He's going to defend his IBO title against Felix Alvarado. Excuse me, Felix Alvarado. That's in Japan next week as well. And then we're just going to cover the rest of the fights for the rest of December. You know what I'm saying? We're going to cover all of those, close out the year. I know we got Ioka fighting on New Year's Eve. We're going to touch on that. So, and then we should get the WBO rankings this week, but we may not because I know that office is closed until January the 8th. So we may or may not get that rankings. If we do, we're going to discuss it. If we don't, we'll just, hold fast. And then the 31st, we should have the WBA rankings come out. So ain't shit going to change. We're going to keep talking this boxing. Hopefully, so everybody is tapped in. And, yeah, bro, we're going to keep it pushing. Yes, sir. Let me see. Yes, sir. Yeah, peace. Yeah, salute to you, bro. Appreciate you guys coming through. Hit that like button on the way out. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with your boy on social media. If you have it, Twitter, Instagram. I appreciate the time, and I'm out.